single woman, whether they're famous or not, has multiple different sides of them. And I think it's important to me what it means to be a woman. And I've thought about that a lot, especially since I came out and felt this pressure from my church community that they thought all of a sudden because I was gay, I wanted to be a boy. Girl, let me tell you something. That's the last thing. If God said you want to get hit by a train, you want to be a boy, I'm be like, man, that train, bring that train. Chugga. I do not want to be a boy.
Welcome to the Tea On.
What's up?
And we talk about things. I don't have tea today. I haven't had tea in the last couple times. Sometimes you just need water, girl. Sometimes you need to hydrate.
I have fake tea for a prop, so I'm gonna make you think I'm sipping. This was yesterday's coffee, so we're gonna just roll with it. You know what I'm saying?
At this point, if life has taught us anything, it is how to roll with it. So we love to hear it. And I'm here with such a vibrant and beautiful soul who, like I was just saying, I'm very enamored by because you stand so boldly in your authenticity. And that in itself gives permission for all of the people that are watching you to do the same. So this is a divine role in what you're doing and being yourself. So you are Miss Juno. Absolutely. And it's the most sincere thing that I can tell you. But I of course, I'm going to let you introduce yourself. But those of you who don't know, you are an incredible musician. You travel the world with your instrumentation and your voice. And yeah, let the people know who you are.
Dope. Well, my name is Juno. I am an artist, guitarist, entrepreneur, and I'm newly learning how to skateboard, which is skateboarding and guitar are probably oxymorons, but I'm doing it.
I love that. Yeah, I feel like everyone's like embracing this like notion of
just
learning.
trying random stuff, right, during this quarantine.
I have a friend learning Korean, and I'm like, go off. Can't relate. But yeah, listen.
I got to learn Greek. I got to the fourth letter. I was like, I'm gonna just do Spanish. This is hard.
Beautiful. But yeah, like I said, I think what so much of your power is the fact that you are so boldly yourself. And so I guess the first thing that I want to talk about is kind of your journey with stepping into who you are. Was it always something that you were comfortable doing, or do you feel like you had to navigate your own journey with self-love?
Yeah, it's interesting because I never intended on being an artist. I know that sounds crazy, but my first time ever touching a guitar was after college. I went to school for social work, and my first client was a 15-year-old heroin addict. Right. And he was like obsessed with guitar. So I'm like, this fool, he gonna get me fired and he gonna get kicked out because he would drive me crazy. I mean, he didn't want to eat, he didn't want to do anything. And I'm just like, man, my heart just went out to him because I always just had a heart for underdogs. So, I asked him like, man, why don't we put the treatment aside? Why don't you just teach me guitar? Let's just start with that. Girl, we never got past that. Oh, Lord Jesus. I was like, whoa, like this passion just
awakened,
went through my body. And I had never experienced anything like that before. I grew up on the south side of Chicago, single mom, all of that. So, we come from very humble beginnings. But what I didn't realize until that moment was that I had never experienced passion before. I had never felt passion. That's what I was feeling, was passion. And it was the thing that woke me up at 6 a.m. when I didn't have to be up till 9, but I got up at like 5, 6 a.m. just so that I can get in all this, extra practice. And it just, to be honest, I was trying to change his life and he changed my life.
Oh, isn't that so?
That's how I started playing guitar, and it just became a hobby. I was obsessed. And so between me and you, girl, I stopped working. I was on Googling chord. What is a chord? What does this mean? What is a treble clef? I mean, I just was absorbing everything. And so I was self-taught in the sense of just scrounging through the internet. I had multiple names for different blogs. I was probably Jasmine on this one and Felicia on this one and Keisha on this one. I was like, I can only ask up to 5 questions a day from each account. So that's so funny. I was really just excited and obsessed to learn and grow. And then that led to me coming across John Mayer, which every guitarist eventually will. And Quincy Jones, who another, amazing artist, musician, producer of our time. And so they both went to Berkeley. That was the one thing they both had in common. I was like, interesting. So I looked up the requirements for Berkeley, and I didn't know how to do any of them. I was like, well, I got 3 months to figure out how to read music, learn key signatures, learn all, everything. Yeah. And I did it in 3 months. I just did it. And I felt like Nick Cannon from Drumline, in the audition room. I'm like, I really don't know, but I was just did the best that I can. They said, look, we can tell that you really don't know how to read and all this stuff, but you can play. We're going to let you in. Promise that you'll learn how to read. And I lied right to their faces. I said, I promise. Girl, I still can't read. But
you don't need to. You don't need to.
After 2 years at Berklee, I got a really solid foundation in music theory. And I was like, I'm ready to go apply it. I don't want to finish. So I left Berklee, and my first gig ever was with Fifth Harmony. Wow. So I started that, which was amazing. I mean, I went from playing in my room on YouTube, going to Berklee, and then now playing the biggest stages that I had ever been on. I mean, I had never even been to a concert before that because we couldn't even afford to go to concerts. So my first concert was on stage as Fifth Harmony's guitarist. Yeah, I had never even been to a concert. I didn't know how it worked. Like, you know what I mean? Right. So it was just, man, I mean, to be honest, the more I tell my story, it almost feels like a movie or something because it all happened so fast in hindsight, but like, you have to understand, I lived 23 years without being a musician at all. So, for me, the last 10 years of my life have just been so rewarding because I feel like I'm living in a space of intention and purpose and passion. And you can't buy that. You know
absolutely not. No.
I always tell people I had a full-time job, salaries, benefits, 401k, and that was great and that was secure. But once I, discovered music, it was just such an amazing new journey for me to find out who am I and what do I have to say and what do I want to leave in this world and what do I want, little girls and little boys to take away after they see me. 1 second, I'm so sorry.
No worries, take your time.
That's my phone. I only know 2 people, you and my grandma, so that must be my grandma. But no, so that's, I mean, I don't know how much you want to go, but from there, I toured with Bruno Mars and Camilla Cabello on the 24 Karat Magic Tour. Camilla Cabello, a really good friend of mine at the time, she had a single with Machine Gun Kelly called Bad Things. So I met Machine Gun Kelly we were in catering one day, they were doing shows. And so he's like, you should come by the house sometime and hang. They call it the Boulevard. And I'm like, okay, girl. They thought I was playing. I showed up to the Boulevard. I didn't know it was going to be all them girls and drugs, but I showed up. I was just like, oh.
What else can you expect? Yeah, no, period.
And I tell you, seriously, all jokes aside, when I tell you Machine Gun Kelly is the sweetest, most kind. Oh my God, like we just clicked. Like he was like a brother to me. So I got to play the Staples Center with him and his band, and it was their first time playing any stadium that big. I mean, now he's blown up. But
right.
I just felt like God blessed me with so many opportunities to connect with people right as they were rising. Wow. And I got to see a fly on the wall example of what it looks like to rise and the grind that takes, the compassion and kindness that I learned from Camila Cabello, and that raw edge that I saw in Machine Gun Kelly. I loved how he was just unapologetically himself. Then I played for Lizzo, who will tell you what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I just got to all these amazing different artists that I got to work for as a guitarist. Really led me to realize I want to be an artist. I got something to say. I got to tell you something. And I had so many ideas and thoughts and things. So that really led me to making my first album. I came off the road after playing with Lizzo and moved to Nashville. And I wrote and produced my album. It took me 2 years. But help was not on the way, and it was just about me realizing no one else was coming to rescue me. I had to get up and make the moves and apply the things that I learned from being around the internet and being in school and being on social media. I mean, all those things combined let me say, okay, now who am I?
Who am I? Ooh, child. Oh my gosh. Wait, hold on.
It was just amazing.
Oh my gosh.
So that's now.
And first of all, you just dropped so many gems. I think what's the most important thing that I think people can take away from your story is the fact that no matter where you are on your path and no matter where your beginnings are, your purpose is always going to find you.
Oh yeah.
It's never going to find you too late or too early. It's always going to find you exactly on time, and it's going to set you up exactly the way that it needs to go. And your path is always, as long as you commit to walking in your path and you commit to your intention, which you so clearly have, and you're deeply embedded in your purpose, which is why I'm so like excited to be talking with you, because a lot of people aren't brave enough to say yes to their calling or to
also change your mind. It's okay. I got a whole degree in social work, and can't nobody tell me I ain't still doing social work. I'm just doing it on the guitar. It's different now, but I'm still doing social work. I'm still bringing people together. The first thing I noticed at my job, I used to bring my guitar to work, and they would always laugh. They'd be like, "Oh, she's gonna eat her guitar for lunch," because I didn't even pack a lunch. As soon as 12 o'clock hit, I was in the break room, and it was the first time ever that the black people that sat over there and the white people sat over there, they all came to sit together to listen to some Stevie Wonder, to listen to some Beatles. You know what I'm saying? So that was the first thing I noticed, to be honest. I wasn't good at all. I sucked. I was terrible, but I knew them 2 songs, you know? And I just would use that, not because I wasn't good. It wasn't like a selfish thing, like I'm showing off or something. That came later. But it was more like, because, you know, in the guitar community, it can be very competitive and like, oh, I'm the best and all this. And later I down the path. And then now I'm back to where I was, when I started, was just wanting to bring people together and just do something that matters.
100%.
I wanted to do something that mattered. I would lay my head on my pillow and I felt like, all right, that was the best I could do today. See you tomorrow and try it again. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes, that fulfillment, that purpose. Give me 1 second because I'm going to switch Wi-Fis and I'm hoping it doesn't change anything. So give me a second. Hold on. We're still here, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So picking up where we left off. Oh my gosh. Honestly, first of all, just like I said, it's you living so boldly in your story that is so empowering. And so I think a common theme that I find threaded in your story is the fact that a lot of beauty was born from dark moments, from darkness, right? And that in itself is so incredibly powerful. So where do you think that your strength stems from? What allowed you to see the light in all of those situations?
Well, that's a great question. No one has ever asked me that. First of all, I have to say this. I stand on the back of my grandmother and my mother and my great, you know, I think now in the world, especially Black people, we're really starting to appreciate and understand where our strength does come from. And it ain't because we so fly. That ain't it, okay? There's people that came before us who sacrificed, who died, who fought, who suffered, all of that. And I think that's just embedded in me, period, already, just from my ancestors. And I think since I've been alive on this earth and what I've experienced is that you have 2 choices, to be honest. You can either be a victim or be be receiving something, or you can start something and you can do something. And so I think when I started to realize that like, okay, my dad ain't here. Well, I can't change that. But my big brother's here and my uncle's here and my grandpa's here. So I'm going to just like appreciate that and like utilize as much as I can out of them. You messing with me, I'm calling my brother. I need some money, I'm calling my uncle. I need some advice, I'm calling my grandpa. You see what I'm saying? So instead of being sad that I didn't have a dad, I leaned on the men I did have, and I utilized that as a resource. Instead of being like, man, I'm homeless, I don't have nowhere to live, I found a garage and tried to turn it into an apartment. So I always tried to take whatever I had, and I think I got that from watching my mom, who was a single mom, say like, okay, I got these 3 little kids that I have to feed, and this is what we have. How do I do that? And I think just watching her do that so much made me constantly just make lemonade out of whatever I had. I've made lemonade, and if you get orange, I'll make some orange juice. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like shifting your perspective to focus on what you do have and utilize that and expand that and build on that. I ain't gonna ever have what you have. And you ain't gonna ever have what I have. But if you look around, I guarantee you, and you make a list of 10 strengths or 10 positive things that you have, and then you make a sub list of each of those things. What can I do with this, right? I don't care if you got $2. How can you flip that and make it 4? Don't think about, I ain't got 4 million. Period. Just wherever you are, start from there and build. And don't you wait for nobody else to come give you nothing or tell you something or help you. They ain't coming. That's what my album is about. Help is not on the way. Everybody really trying to help themselves. You know what I'm saying? So it's a positive thing, because when you realize that, then it just makes you get real creative. And so I think the combination of coming from a strong history of amazing Black people who just did not give up. I mean, we still here, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And then watching my grandma and my mom, and then also just combined with me learning and realizing that I have the power to change my own life. Mm-hmm. Nobody else can do that for me.
Oh my God.
It took me a long time to realize it.
Yes.
But it's the best thing I've ever realized, because ever since that moment is when I wrote the song, Help Is Not on the Way. I was in my kitchen, the kitchen that I tried to turn into, it was a garage, abandoned garage.
Right.
We had this brilliant idea. We were like, we don't rent, we'll save rent and just buy more guitars. And it was just so dumb. And so that was like last year, and I was kidding. And so we found this abandoned garage. It wasn't like, you weren't even supposed to live there. Like, you know, there, you realize why you don't live in an abandoned garage. But I was sitting there in this bucket washing the dishes, and that's the moment I wrote the song, Help Is Not on the Way. It's the title track. But it was just me sitting there realizing, like, wow, I screamed help, and it echoed and came back to me. And I was like,
symbolic.
And you know I'm always trying to be deep. I was like, Lord, I was like, oh wait, that was me. That was my own voice. So with my own voice echoed and came back to me, I was like, man, who gonna answer that? The only person that heard it was me. Yeah. Who can even answer that scream? So that was the moment I realized that. And I was just like, wow. So I would say it's a combination of a bunch of things. I'm sure people want to hear that I'm so fly and I'm a child prodigy and this and that. No, none of that. I've made probably more mistakes than I've done things right. And now I'm having a lot of full circle moments of lessons coming around and me being like, oh, that's what my mom was trying to tell me when I was 16. That's what my grandma told me when I was 25. You know what I'm saying? All the stuff we too hard-headed to listen to because we think we know everything. Girl, bye. Whew, Lord. Now I'm just like, all right. And nobody's perfect. Everything my grandma said wasn't necessarily right, and everything my mom wasn't right. But they did the best they can, and I took it all in, and I took the meat, and I spit out the bones.
Ooh. Oh my God, you are just poetry in motion. Oh my God. No, but absolutely. And I think we let so much of what we don't have control over control us. When in actuality, when we reconnect to this notion that what we can control is our perception, and it is what we take in accountability for gratitude and what we say yes to. And, you know, when we focus in on what we don't have, we're blinding ourselves from what we do have. And I think, and you embodying that, you're putting strength on a pedestal for anybody else who hasn't maybe discovered the power of their own mind and life perception. So
it's lonely and it's scary sometimes, but it's the most freedom I've ever felt in my life, because for the first time when I have a question, I'm asking myself. I get by myself in the woods and I'm asking God directly. I don't need anybody else to tell me what's best for me. I seek that for myself. But you gotta have the courage to let it hurt. It's gonna hurt sometimes, and we don't want to hurt. We want to run from hurt. But I thought, what happens if, my brother used to tell me, you got to walk to the fight. We from Chicago, girls, so some of our analogies, excuse us. But sometimes you got to walk to the fight. You know, they tell me, meet me after school, and you're like, oh man, just walking to the fight, it's nerve-wracking, and it's, you know, but some people can't even walk to the fight, and sometimes you just got to walk to the fight and see what it is, right? And I think we always want life to be so simple and easy, and we don't want to feel pain, and we want to be in love, and we want to make all this money. But if there was no rain, you wouldn't appreciate the sunshine. You wouldn't, you know, so trials and tribulations genuinely come not to just make you stronger, but to give you wisdom and give you an understanding on how to move forward differently in the future. And I think that's really what I've tried to do. I've tried to learn from everybody's mistakes, not just my parents, but everybody in my family, everybody online that posts stuff. We could all learn from each other instead of just treating it like a clout chasing platform or gossiping or whatever, it could be like, hey, what does she do really well? And what you could take any person in the world, any person, Barbara Walters, let's look at her. Okay, what does she do really well, and what are some things she maybe could work on? And then you take another person, and then you look at yourself that way.
Yes.
What am I doing really well, and what can I do? And it's about effective with you like stuck. But if you can face that and admit, then you grow.
Yes, a million percent. And I think it's oh my God, it's so much of that, and it's so much of seeing the beauty in our mistakes and not fearing failure so much, right? I think we're so scared to show people that we are imperfect. I think social media has become like a highlight reel of our lives, when in actuality, I think showing the humanity in each and every one of us is how we change things. And like you said, a beautiful point that you brought up earlier was the fact that, you started off this journey sort of pursuing social work, when in reality, I think you're doing the most social work you could have ever possibly been doing. Yeah. So there's.
I listened to the idea of what the university told me social work meant.
Exactly.
They didn't. You ain't got the answers, Sway. Like, they didn't have the answers, and that's okay. It doesn't mean they're wrong. It just means everybody has their own path, and you got to be open and willing to find yours. You can always be able to follow somebody else, but it's not going to be your path.
Exactly. And finding
your glasses. It's not your prescription. I got Miss Tabitha Brown. Do you follow Tabitha?
Oh my God, she's an angel.
Whole auntie. Like I would really her. Like I love her. I'm serious. If you got a problem with Tabitha Brown, you have a problem with me.
Imagine a human being having a problem with her though, when she's literally like maple syrup in a person. Yeah. Like, come on, yeah.
Get into Donna, honey.
I love it. Oh my God. She's incredible. But yes, absolutely. The metaphors, they come in handy. Absolutely. And I
wanted to say this. When I was on tour with Camilla Cabello, it was just so funny. We were so extra, girl. We were like, every night we would watch film, like football players watch film of the games.
Yeah.
We would watch the film of the show and give each other feedback. So, of course.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I would look at her and I'd be like, oh my God, you killed that. And she'd be like, yeah, but right there, I could have done that. And that's where I really was like, wow, even someone who is already a star, already super successful, already, on, as everybody wants to be on, they don't even know what that means. But even her, at one of the heights of her career, because I still think she'll probably go higher and higher, but at the height of her career at that time, she was still evaluating herself and judging if she could have done better. And that really spoke to me. I said, man, if she's doing that, I need to be doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I arrived here because I have this many followers, or I did this project, or I worked with this person. Now I can relax and be comfortable. It's like, no, I want to be the best version of myself every single day. How do I do this?
Yes.
I'm trying to figure that out.
Yes. Yeah. And it's a matter of I think it's committing to showing up as your best self. Because I think when we envision this ideal higher self that we want to step into, I think we envision somebody who is perfect and who is healed. And the truth is that we're always going to have these scars and these wounds. It's a matter of, are you showing up today and doing your best possible effort in that given context? And that's how you're going to be your best self. It's committing to that. And it's so incredible that you bring up like Camilla and you bring up your mother and your grandmother. It's very evident just in who you are that you were surrounded by a lot of strong women and a lot of women that have taught you just by experience and by emulation. And this is a theme that's prominent in my life right now, so I'm excited to even talk about this with you. I wasn't planning on it, but I'm sure all of these women are such different shades and different hues of what a woman would look like. And I'm curious on your perspective of like just what it means to be a woman, because I feel like we're so multi-layered, and oftentimes we're easily put into boxes of like, okay, you are the quiet one, you are the shy one, you are the sexual one, you are the, and it's like, when we have so many parts of ourselves, do you ever find that you need to maybe dim one part of yourself in order to embrace another? Tell me about it, because this is like a thing for me.
I love it. I love it. This is a great question. Well, first of all, I want to say that I was just thinking about this. Literally, I think it was this morning. Because I woke up and I watched. I was really excited. I saw that Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion had a new song.
Yes. I just watched it. Crazy.
See the song, and then I always do this. I always watch something. I know what is my opinion of it, and then I look in the comments. I'm just curious. I compare it to
Me too.
So, some people of course loved it, and then some people were saying like, well, and then I want to compare that to Beyonce put out a project.
Yeah.
And I love that. I watched that. And again, I was very surprised to see how much controversy and stuff was surrounding it, because I was super uplifted. I felt so proud to be Black, so proud I got nothing but positivity from it, and people were saying all this stuff. So I'm saying all this to say this. I just named 3 very big artists right now: Meg Thee Stallion, Beyonce, and Cardi B. Then you got girls like Rihanna and all these. Every single woman, whether they're famous or not, has multiple different sides of them. And I think it's important to me what it means to be a woman. And I've thought about that a lot, especially since I came out and felt this pressure from my church community that they thought all of a sudden because I was gay, I wanted to be a boy. Girl, let me tell you something. That's the last thing. If God said you want to get hit by a train, you want to be a boy, I'm be like, man, bring that train. Chugga. I do not want to be a boy at all. But on that. Well, what is a woman, and I don't actually think there is one definition for a man or for a woman. And I don't like the personality and characteristic traits that we assign. That we did that. We came up with that. That's not, you're not born outgoing, or you're not born necessarily with personality traits. Those are things you acquire over time based on your environment.
Yes.
And so I believe that the definition of a woman, to me, is the same definition to me of a man. It's just a human, of a person who is comfortable in their skin and owns their own identity, whatever that means. Yeah. And that's across careers, that's across whatever. You know what I'm saying? But if you are a woman who believes that, raising a family is your path in life, and that fulfills you and you're good with that, great. Do that. If you're a woman who believes you don't want kids and you want to do the career thing, do that. If you're a woman that believes you want to do both. If you want to be the baddest bitch, do it. If you want to be a nun, do it. But to me, what makes a woman is that she ain't checking for nobody else to tell her who she is. She's looking inside for that. And so just a person comfortable in their own skin, and a person who looks inside themselves and continues to just try and evolve as a human being. I mean, I know a lot of we even like the word masculine and feminine. It's like, well, that's something we made up. Like, why is, even like dresses, I have this conversation all the time. Like, why does a girl wear a dress? There are some countries where men wear kilts or dresses. You know what I'm saying? It's just a material. It doesn't make you a man or a woman.
No.
So if you can be if you can remove I call them personality traits or characteristic traits that society has assigned to genders, and we remove all that.
Oh my God.
We're talking about just the core of a person's soul. And it's like, who are you and what's your purpose? That got nothing to do with a pants or a dress or pink or blue or titties, no titties. Literally. Or, whether I have boobs or not, I'm going to teach you guitar, right? That's what I'm going to do. Or I'm gonna do I'm gonna make music, and it shouldn't matter. We don't talk about when we speak about even like nature or animals. Like a tree is a tree. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure that I know that there's femininity and masculinity in nature, but what's interesting is there's no consciousness in nature like we have, right? So a tree ain't looking at another tree like, you ain't got more branches by now. You know what I'm That's why I like to kind of observe nature and make comparisons. And I think that naturally, just like in nature, different things will have different roles at different times for different reasons.
Yes.
Nothing in nature is all the time. At least there's 4 seasons in 1 year.
Right.
And imagine how long trees have been along. So I know this is getting a little deep, but
no. This is me. Trust me. I'm like deeply embedded in the spiritual.
That's the simple answer, that I don't think that there are any personality traits that define a man or a woman. But I think when I think about a man or a woman, I just think about being an adult and coming into yourself as an adult, because when you're younger, it's different when you get older. But just owning who you are and being comfortable in your skin and not letting anybody else define what that means for you.
Yes. Absolutely. That's letting what's inward define you 100%. I think that's so incredibly powerful. And I think it also takes like an active commitment to recognizing what we need to unlearn and what beliefs aren't ours. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This morning, girl, I saw the Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion video, and like I had just seen Black is King for like a 4th time. And so I even found myself like perpetuating like look at what Beyonce just did, and like this seems a little bit like, and I realized, what am I doing? Like, how am I?
I did that same thing. I was, to be honest, I get a little bit frustrated because I'm just like, I can't compete with this ever. My booty ain't gonna ever do that. My booty just ain't gonna do that. Okay. But at the same time, I can look at another artist, man, woman, black, white, whatever, doesn't matter. And I can acknowledge and appreciate what they do, but it ain't what I do. And that's okay.
And that's
you know what I'm saying? And I just think people need to like step back a little bit and stop putting the same lens on everybody and judging everybody by the same magnifying glass, when it's like, if Beyonce had put out an album right now that was about anything but Black culture, that's what they would be talking about. She got all this platform and all these followers, and she ain't lifting our people. Okay, so she lifted our people. Now we got a problem with the way she did it, right?
Exactly.
So, girl, bye. I'm watching this stuff like, dang, if they got a problem with Beyonce, they sure gonna have a problem with me. Because I'm about to push the boundaries, break the limits, call your grandma out, all of that. You know what I'm saying? And I just 100%. Love the fact that Beyonce, whether you like her, hate her, whatever, she's dropping amazing art that I believe will be here after we all gone, okay?
Listen, I'm high.
Your little IG live ain't changing lives, okay? But that
your
video...
Your IG live ain't changing lives.
You see what I'm saying? People judging like, what did you do today? IG live? A Q&A? Stop judging people and let people do what they feel they called to do, and you do yours. If you have time to judge somebody else and you ain't walking in your purpose, I don't have time to be thinking about what they should do, unless I'm trying to learn something and I'm in an educational space. But most of the time, it's not that. People just critique people just to have something to say, just to be negative, So as a woman, and especially as a gay woman, I've thought about this a lot. I just want to be free. I just want to be myself. Like, there are certain things that don't resonate with me. And there are certain things that other women may feel like, yeah, that really resonates with me. And everybody's just different. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I don't really ever need to see a penis. I just don't. That's just me. Some girls, they own it. They like, I was listening to some of the lyrics in Megan Thee Stallion, and then I was just like, wow. It was just such a different mindset, because I couldn't even, like, I don't want to hop on the dick. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
I don't want to ask for a car while riding it. It's not.
I don't want to do that, but at the same time, if that's what they, whatever. And everybody's got something. Everybody does. Nobody's perfect.
No.
You know what I'm saying? No. So we just gotta be compassionate and have grace for each other, and let everybody be them, and you do you.
Yes.
And I think we'll be just fine. You know what I'm saying?
I think that's one of the biggest lessons that people can learn, is just do you, and like walk in what you think your purpose is, and mind your business, and we can all just like live cohesively and in unison. And I mean, I think society operates by labels, because that's how they maintain the status quo. That's how they find themselves the most comfortable, and that bleeds into everything. I mean, especially talking about sexuality, I think when we move away from this idea of like gay, straight, and bisexual, and think that maybe you can fall somewhere on the spectrum, and like it's not something that it's not.
I actually think labels, this is my opinion, I actually think labels all derived in general from marketing. I really believe that. I can't prove it because I wasn't there, but if you think about it, it's like, okay, we got to sell this stuff. We got to label. We have to put it in categories. Okay, we're gonna put pink to the girls and blue to the boys. Okay, cool. So we're gonna make, whatever. And now that I'm the head of my team and I see how some decisions are made, seriously, some of the rules we follow were literally just someone who made a marketing decision. And now for 300 years, everybody been doing that. And it's like, that was just that one guy's idea of what was appropriate for that circumstance.
Oh my God.
Every woman after him should do that. Or every, you know.
100%. No, 100%. But I think if there's any time in which I think all of us as a collective can like bind together and unlearn all of this shit that isn't ours, I think it's right now. And I think it's happening. And I think part of that is people like you speaking up, and people like me using my platform to speak up as well. It's people talking about the fact that like a lot of these rules that we're following, like, have we ever stopped to think if it's really what we believe in? Even like this idea of like living in such a capitalistic culture and placing our value in monetary gain, and aside from like actually being present and really living life. So what is something that you feel like you didn't realize you had to unlearn, but recently you realized this ain't even me?
That's a great question. I think religion. I'm very much a spiritual person. I believe in a higher power. I believe in God. That's what I call that high power. When I look at the moon, not to sound, whatever, but when I go outside at night and I look up at the sky, there's just something that's just amazing, beautiful, and
trust me, Anna,
beyond anything a human could do. So that's what I believe. But I think I had to unlearn, and I'm still trying to unlearn the idea of what is good and what is bad, what is a sin, and all those things. And so I think, to be honest, subconsciously, I noticed like I always have this kind of guilt that follows me. And I'm like, where did I get that from? I got that from church, because if you're doing this, you're a sinner. If you're doing this, you're a sinner. If you're doing this, you're a sinner. Yes. And, it's interesting because I was the child of a single mom. I had my mom, quote unquote, had me out of wedlock. And so I remember growing up in the church and noticing that my mom was treated differently. And that's why I said in my song, Carrying the World, I said, I'm going to take your burdens, pass them while they hurting, kicked out the church, but you didn't deserve it. You know what I'm saying? I was picking purses in the back so we never lack. Your stomach hurt, mama, take my plate. I can't eat all that. Wow. So much stuff in that, but someone may see me stealing and they may think, oh, I'm bad. Or I was hungry. You know what I'm saying? Or, whatever. So I think in general, there's all these rules that they come up with. And I just think it's really hard to apply one big book to everybody for thousands of years. I just don't, that doesn't make sense to me.
No.
The same way if T.D. Jakes wrote a book today, right? Half the country will roll with it, half the country wouldn't. Some people will feel whatever. But in 2,000 years, I don't expect them to still follow exactly what T.D. Jakes said today in 2020. No. Some, you take the meat and you spit out the bones. Some of the stuff will still be applicable, but some of the stuff will just not apply anymore. Right. And I think people get offended and think it's like blasphemous when I challenge things like the Bible, or I'm gonna say, okay, well, where did that come from? Who said that? Why? Why do we have to do that? Yes. Why can't I wear pants at church? I went to Church of God in Christ. Why can't I wear pants? Why can't I, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God. And so I think now I've had to really just unlearn religion and understand that God is so much bigger than any rules or ideas or thoughts that we can try and contain him with. And to me, that is closer than the other way I felt of always trying to follow rules and be perfect. To be honest, it was just to fit into this community that in the end didn't accept me anyway. After I followed all their rules, they still didn't accept me.
Oof, child.
So I want to challenge them. I want to challenge any spiritual or religious person or Christian watching this to say, what is the end goal of that? For us to just lie and hide it? Because ain't nobody following all of that anyway.
Right.
Everyone's fronting for each other. For this hierarchy in church. I'm the missionary, I'm the deacon, I'm the pastor, I'm this. And so it's like, okay, but what about when the pastor is struggling?
Right.
What about when, so I just feel like there's this facade that people hold up in the church, and I just didn't sit well with me because I was experiencing some real things inside. And the one place I felt like I should have been able to talk to about what I was feeling and thinking shunned me and told me I was going to hell and told me I wasn't worthy to step on these holy grounds. That's what I was told. And I was just like, wow, okay, well, I just played guitar for y'all for 7 years for free.
Wow.
So
right.
Was I worthy then? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm the same person. So that really hurt my feelings. I think the rejection I experienced from the church. And at first it came out as anger, which is why I came out on Instagram with a video of a childbirth. I don't know if you saw. That was probably the most controversial thing I've ever done. I had this video and it was like, it said on the top, it says, Juno, how long have you been gay? And then I was like, and then it just flashed to a real childbirth.
I love that. Iconic.
So I think initially my response was aggression and anger, and I wanted to make them see they ain't gonna and now I'm just like, you know what? The same way y'all praying for me, I hope you're praying for yourself. Because if you got this much time to be judging me and thinking about me, then you are in trouble. Because we ain't got time to be judging other people, you know. So
100%.
That's what I will unlearn. Religion and rules in general that apply to all women or all men. Or Black people don't do that. Well, I do.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? To people telling me what it means for me to be Black or for me to be a woman or for me. No, I had to unlearn all of that and just tune people out. And when you're so focused on your purpose and your mission, you don't even notice other people giving you their opinions. Exactly. You don't even notice because you're not available and you're not accessible to them. They can't even access me right now. You know what I'm saying? I created a safe space for myself that can't nobody reach me unless I give you permission to. I have to open the door for you to come in, and I'm just not opening the door for no more rules of anybody to in my life.
No, you're prioritizing, you're protecting your energy, and that's so incredible. And so much of that resonates with me. I think the minute that I sort of strayed away from like organized religion was the time in which I felt the closest to God, which is
isn't that crazy?
The most insane thing. The minute I stopped placing just like rules and confinement to having a relationship with the higher divine being, I heard it, him, her so much more clearly. And I see divinity in nature and in my own personal journey. And I think I invite everyone to just step outside of what they've been told is religion. Yeah. They've been told God is.
This is what I say. If everything you taught was right, you have nothing to lose. Why are you, listen, if this is the end all be all, this is the whole thing. And if I don't get this right, I'm going to heaven or hell. Don't you want to know for sure that this is the right thing? Because there's so many other reasons that say, well, you got to do this. You got to go, you got to win 44,000 souls, and you got to go door to door, and you got to do this, and you got to do that, and whatever. And so it's like, I just think challenging what you've been taught is, to me, a prerequisite for you finding yourself. Because you got to even challenge what you even thought you knew about yourself first.
Yes,
and,
100%.
You know, that's important. So
oh my
God, I got time for one more question.
Oh no, honestly, I have like 12 more questions, but I'm like, at this point, I could talk to you for hours because you're such an incredible and brilliant mind. But at this point,
I swear I would. I have another interview right after this, but
honey, just let the people know what's coming out for you and what we can look forward to, and because I know this project is insane.
Yeah, so please check out my album, Help Is Not On The Way. It's on all streaming platforms. Juno. The movie Juno with the pregnant teenager has ruined all my marketing schemes. So you're going to have to just type in Help Is Not On The Way to find me. And yeah, what's coming up for me is, visuals. I'm taking one from Beyonce. Number one, it's a front to back album. It's a story, but I really want visuals for each album. So I've been saving up so that I can really articulate my vision and get it out the way I want it to.
I'm excited.
And so I'm doing that. I'm going to be, I'm continuing my guitar boot camp. I teach, over 12 countries. And I'm launching some new classes, a songwriting class and a finger picking class. So that's going to be dope. And it's just anybody can come. You don't have to be like a guru, So I'm just really trying to spread the things that I've learned that have helped to elevate my life. Because information is information and different people can use it in different ways. It doesn't intimidate me if you're awesome also. It doesn't intimidate me at all. Or if you can see my cards, okay, I'm gonna have to get some more cards then. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just started this guitar boot camp. It's over Zoom where I teach guitar lessons, and I'm so proud of the fact that 98% of my students right now are Black. And I did that on purpose.
Nice.
Yeah, because I just wanted to give opportunities to people who don't normally get access, to that. Because that was me just a couple of years ago. So.
Right. Oh, beautiful. You're changing the world, and I'm so grateful to have had this conversation, this connection with you. I'm
thank you so much.
You. And thank you. And obviously everyone will check out your stuff. You can check me out on YouTube, on Instagram, and have a beautiful day.
Check me out, Juno_the artist on the gram.
On the gram. Perfect.
Good luck with everything, Jasmine.